Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO delivered by Menulog. It is time for Menulog Mealtime, where we're going to have a quick chat about how good Menulog is and what we're going to be having for dinner tonight. I believe Kitty and I already ate ours, but I want to get down into it. And before we do, you guys want to get down into it too. I know there's a $30 voucher for one of you as long as you type MENUPOG in Twitch chat. And get yourself into the running for a code. If you're lucky, you win that $30 voucher. You can use it on Menulog to get yourself a feed. Get yourself some beautiful dinner on a lovely, terrific Tuesday. Now, while that's out of the way, while you guys are waiting for your vouchers to come through, let's go through our burrito orders. We got Mad Mex tonight, and we have someone in the studio. Fortunately, it's not one of us that decides that beans are like are just illegal. And I think beans are the greatest thing, or greatest part of Mexican. It just like brings that extra texture, that extra flavor. None of you, wait, do you all get beans, right?
I got beans.
Nah.
Kitty, you don't get beans.
Nah, I didn't get
Kitty's
beans either.
flamed.
No, I'm with Kitty. I didn't get beans either.
Oh, my note. Yeah, I didn't get beans.
Oh, well, Matt, look, I'm with you, mate.
I think beans are nice, but I don't think they're the texture I want in a burrito. If it was like a open bowl, I would have them. That's my perspective on
but
it.
what about the nutritional benefits of the beans?
I don't know if I've told you this. I don't like certain foods based off textures. I like certain foods based off textures. So pineapple on pizza, I don't like pineapple because of the texture of pineapple, not even the flavor.
Okay.
So I don't actually like partake in the pineapple on pizza issue. I just dislike the pineapple.
Okay.
Don't care where it is.
So you just hate the enzymes, what they do to your tongue, or is it like the actual
the feel,
chewing,
mouth feel.
The feel?
It's the texture. Yeah.
I like the texture.
feel like
the,
we're just
the
derailing.
stringy sweetness.
It's just weird. I can't
We can
explain
just go down the
I think
road
I
and say,
made
what do
Kitty
we
gag.
not like?
I'm so sorry.
I
Anyway,
don't like mushrooms for the same reason.
Let's talk about our burrito. Kitty, what did you get?
Well, I talked about it earlier. I had a naked burrito bowl for the first time, and I highly recommend it to anyone that is trying Mexican food for the first time, just like me, because I had a very good feed.
Okay, well, I had chicken, brown rice, extra guac on there as well. You got to get the guacamole, and then whatever else is on it. I think I actually got the pineapple and corn salsa on there too. So, Rusty, you'd hate that.
Highly illegal.
But very, very nice. Skimmy?
Well, look, I've gone for the same as you, Mac, with the grilled chicken. We got the beans, we got the rice, we got all the salsa and whatnot in it. I was really usually I'd go for spicy.
Yeah.
But look, one of my biggest phobias is literally on camera
No, that's
having
illegal.
a moment. So we've said, you know what, we're going to tone it back a little bit. We've gone for medium.
Never go spicy food on or before a broadcast because it's just dangerous.
it's
It is just
very
dangerous.
dangerous.
It's a rule. It's a bloody rule. Rusty, what was your order?
I haven't had it. It's beef, no beans, brown rice. And I think everything else that you said is on it as well. I went for the medium salsa because the spicy, you just like, I would go spicy if I wasn't on.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys, yeah.
It'd be so funny if in mid-commentate it would just walk away. Sorry, mate.
Beautiful.
I've had enough spice on broadcast. I don't know if you guys have partaken in this, but the amount of chilies that I've eaten while working on a League of Legends broadcast is too damn high in my career.
Had a couple of chilies on broadcast. Pretty tasty. Usually the bird's eye though, so it's not like on the crazy end just yet. But of course, look, it is time for us to jump on out of these jackets, jump on out of Menulog Mealtime and get into match number 2. So let's have a look at the Dire Wolves roster. Now, Skimmy, talk me through what's going on here. Poltron in the jungle, doing a bit of work yesterday.
He certainly did. Yeah, his most played champion in solo queue was the Kindred, and for good reason, came straight into the Rift and said this is why. It looked really, really good. I mean, Siuman rocks back into his position as a starting player here now in the LCO and says, look, I'm looking pretty clean as well. I think overall, the team certainly stuck true to their guns of Split 1, which is we are going to be the team that's going to have all these weird and creative picks. And certainly, I mean, you look at Zorenous, I mean, he played the Teemo. It was fantastic. I loved it. So why not just invest in all this craziness? Once again, it's a case of him showcasing that Tien, you're not going to have much fun in lane.
He made it miserable.
One small moment at the end there, and the game was over.
Yeah, very, very rough performance from him. But Rusty, talk to me about what was going well, because we were really enjoying what we saw from Danteh. I think, of course, he was up against Violet, so it made it that little bit more difficult to really shine. Right?
Yeah, Danteh was just fine, right? Like, I think for Direwolves, they're running into a very similar issue that I think I have for Kanga the past 2 games we've seen of them as well. Like, the early game seems fine. Like, they kept up with a team that you would say is on paper better. And then it just came to team fights where they started to flounder, where you would expect, you know, the experience, the consistency, the ability of the piece individually as a roster to win the 5v5s, and they do.
Yeah.
The same can be said for Direwolves. They did so well, and then they fell off come those team fights.
Okay, well, are we expecting them to do well against Gravitas? Let's have a look at what roster Gravitas is bringing into this game today in day 2 of the LCO. So, DaJeung couldn't 1v9 yesterday, but can he do it today, Kitty?
DaJeung can always 1v9 in our hearts. So my eyes are still on DaJeung and Piglet. Although he played, I believe it was Ezreal, and I even called him out with building Ninja Tabby on the Ezreal against Kalista because it was a very painful game, especially just for everyone that game. But Piglet, I know he's a much more mechanical and better player in general, so he can still redeem himself with these following games, especially against Dials when they have proved that their late game isn't as stable as they want it to be and ideal. So Gravitas does have a chance against Dials.
Okay, what about you, Rusty? Any thoughts on Gravitas going into this one? Can they do it over Direwolves?
Yeah, I think Gravitas have always got a chance. What we saw from them yesterday was definitely not enough, but we do know, and we spoke about this in Speculate even before their first game, what they could be picking, right? Like expecting the Lulu Cog type metas, expecting the Zoes to be seen, but the first game against them banned almost all of that out. So I would like to see it left up one time, or to see those strategies kind of taken into a new leaf for Gravitas. That's probably their key to success.
Okay, now Kitty, have you got your phone ready?
All right, let me just dial up. Beep, boop, boop. Hello?
Who's there?
Oh, it's Poltron from Dials. Welcome back.
Hello.
Well, welcome to the LCO as a player, Poltron. How have you been?
I've been good. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, mate, lovely to see you. Now, I wanted to know, because I brought this up off screen yesterday, coming as a coach back into a roster, back into the jungle there, does it change how you sort of work in the team? Are you doing the calling? Do you have more of a voice in the live game? And are you happier to be able to call those shots while the game's live?
I mean, 100%. I'm in the game now. I can't just sit back and, well, basically flame my team after they make a mistake. I'm in the game now. It's up to me to make the correct call. And then obviously, last night we lost to Peace. I should have made a Baron call around the 21-minute mark, which would have secured our victory. I reckon the first 20 minutes we get a good game. But yeah, just stuff I need to work on going forward. But it's a completely different environment, that's for sure.
And we saw the Kindred coming out of you last night in that match against Peace. So Kindred is also known as more of a solo queue champion, and I'm sure we've seen a lot of Kindred in solo queue. So tell me how that champion transitions into ranked. I mean, into pro LCO. I'm brainwashed.
Well, the way I played Kindred yesterday was pretty selfishly. Luckily, I had, I'd say, 3 winning lanes, which allowed me to farm up, get a Storm, get that lead over Lisa that I had. I also managed to secure my 4 marks before I had, I think it was my Kraken Slayer. So around the second Dragon fight, the Rift Herald fights, I was definitely strong. Never at any worry about needing to flip the game or force a risky play that would put the game in jeopardy.
Now I'm going to test your on-screen skills quickly. So point down just below your microphone on the screen. I want you to touch my fingers. This is for luck, all right?
Touching your fingers
here.
there?
A little bit. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. There we go.
Yeah,
there we
close
go.
enough. All right, thank you. Good luck in your game, Poltron.
Close enough.
Good luck,
just kill it in
Poltron.
the
you.
jungle.
Will do.
Beautiful. Well, do it for Mac is what I should have said. Either way, look, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how it goes. He did a pretty good job yesterday, but as you can see, hindsight's 20/20. You know, it's different from being a coach and having to sit back, have your opinions later, talking about things after the fact, and then, you know, recognizing what he should have done. So like saying at the 21 minutes, should have made the Baron call. Look, it's learning from your mistakes, but it's all about the active thinking, preparation, knowing all your protocols, right? What to do, when to do it, and when to put your Twitch points into the Dare fan vote, like right now. So you guys get those Twitch points in to the Dare fan vote. Tell us who you think's going to win. I feel like this is probably one of the closer matches we've had so far.
Yeah.
Gravitas, it's going to be a good test for them because we saw how how strong Direwolves started yesterday. I guess the question is, can Direwolves finish? And let's see what we think about this matchup. Have a quick look at the predictions before we jump on in. Everyone leaning towards Direwolves. Again, I'm starting to get bored. Rusty, you're playing me like a fiddle.
I mean, we haven't got one wrong yet, Mac. There's no reason to be bored. I think you can maybe reserve the boredom for when we're finally getting these wrong.
Okay.
And I don't think that this game's going to be too much different. Again, I think there is a higher percentage chance that Gravitas win, but I would still say based off yesterday, and it is recency bias, no doubt from all of us, Direwolves do look like they should have the medal to take this one out.
Very true. Now, I did think about that earlier. I did start to get a bit of an itch when Kanga was doing pretty well against Peace. I was like, oh, if only I did that underdog pick, you know? And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So I was pretty relieved that I did go for the Peace pick, but it'll happen sooner rather than later. Maybe. I guess you'll just have to stay tuned and see. Now, in terms of champ picks, there were a couple of spicy ones coming through from Direwolves yesterday. Are we expecting Teemo again, Kitty?
Teemo, well, it did seem like a good answer to the Gwen top lane, which I'm sure they've practiced a lot because it was actually a really good laning phase with the Ignite. And maybe if Gwen took Ignite, it would have been a more even lane. Maybe he predicted the future and he would win those solo kills. Yeah. But I am not expecting another Teemo game because that's kind of like a surprise factor of Teemo, you know? You're not expecting Teemo.
Well, we are about to find out if we get Teemo again, if we don't, and who's going to win the bloody game, because it's time for Champ Select here in game number 2 of the day.
Beautiful. Well, let's see what happens if there's going to be any weird and wacky picks locked in once again, as Gravitas going to start things off here. On the blue side, guaranteeing themselves that first pick, and it almost feels like, yes, we've lost Kevy and his Evelyn being a denial ban guarantee. We've basically said that, you know, Gravitas, DaJeung, ban away at Zoe every time. Yeah,
DaJeung's always going to have the Zoe banned away from him. Also, with this meta, it feels like we've just got 5 to 6 permabans, and the second you go for a targeted ban, nobody also with the Trundle being taken away. It leaves up really OP champions like the Senna that I don't think we've seen once yet in the almost said OPL, LCO. Senna, I feel like of all of the new OP durability champions, I think Senna might be the craziest because of what can be paired with it. So Wukong is banned, but Senna could be picked with like a Tahm Kench. I still think, you know, that is like the base duo. A tank that farms in bot lane, I can throw Gragas out there as well, I guess, as an option, is always possible. And then you could just put it in the AD carry position anyway, if you really wanted to.
I think we've seen hundreds of variations, right? You say, you know, the Tahm Kench is the obvious one. I think we've heard of, like, you know, Nasus, Swain, Veigar,
Galio.
Even Galio, Maokai, perhaps.
Maokai could work for sure.
There's a lot of different options you can really play, and it just makes it such a nuisance. But this will always be the bread and butter.
Yeah, without a doubt. So the Tahm Kench will get locked in. Probably looking towards a jungler now that the Volibear has been seen on the flip side. Wouldn't be against something like a Viego, perhaps. You see the Lucian, so you're expecting a Nami. You would like something that has potential further engage. This can definitely work. And also can be considered flexible right now. Jungle and top lane not really showing. Presumably jungle based on what we've seen so far in the LCO.
Be curious to see if that is the role that Tyran looks to try and fill. We did see him spend a lot of time, last split at least, filling the role of the Gragas or the Ornn, playing very much weak-sided. Not much attention went his way, and looking to try and accelerate both mid and bot instead. So we'll get to see what that one is, but it is Direwolves returning to their roots once again of saying that, you know, this Lucian Nami lane really is what gets us these big, insane leads. We've got already initiation with this Volibear. We've got the turret diving potential with that ultimate, obviously at level 6 as well to consider. So we want to win hard and we want to win fast by that 15-minute mark.
LeBlanc going to be banned away here as well. Very curious to see where they choose to go for Siuman in mid lane. Is it the Ahri, right? Is it just ban LeBlanc, pick Ahri? Of course, that's going to be a fair and free response from Gravitas now. You see that, you just ban in kind. And now we have to start diversifying our mid lane champion pool. I don't think we've ever seen Taliyah go this far, Skimmy, without being touched.
This is very curious. And it does beg the question, right? Have they scrimmed one another? Do they know that it's not a champion available in their arsenal?
There's no shot that all 10 of these players haven't seen a Taliyah in solo queue ruin their lives and consider it a broken champion.
Oh, they've let it through as well. Direwolves are calling their bluff. They ban away to Tristana instead. What did Gravitas ponder now? Do they ban away to Taliyah if they're not willing to play it themselves? Certainly would be leaving a very big can of worms available.
Siuman's the type of player that'll want you to pick it and then just go Zed.
Well, he had his most played when he did play once upon a time was the Akali. That was banned out last night. Certainly would be a fair response if he wanted to try and really take that skill check. They ban away the Azir instead, so Taliyah is up and available. This would be a wild circumstance if Direwolves just respond in that fashion blind.
Neither of these mid laners or junglers play this champion, I guess. if it doesn't get locked in here. Azir's taken off the cards, Ahri taken off the cards. We've really whittled down a lot of the mid lane champion pool from the conventional mid lanes. It could just be a Victor or an Orianna type of lane that you would see here. Of course, with Siuman, you know on the opposing side, he is going to pick an assassin.
Yes.
So
there it is. There's the Akali.
That is the Akali, like you highlighted, one of his most played of all time. I'm not going to say that is too surprising for him. Zorenous also on red side getting the final pick here for Direwolves feels like par for the course for them now.
Yeah.
With the amount of Gouda this man's carrying in his arsenal.
He really will play anything. And it makes it quite exciting now for them to have to reveal on the side of Gravitas what they're going to go for. The Taliyah had to be locked into. You've now got yourself arguably 4 insanely
yeah,
oppressive.
that's the most broken comp in existence. Just pick Aatrox and wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Don't even play the game.
On
just
face
forfeit.
value, this is the most broken draft, which I'm sure coaches around the world who are watching and thinking, how has this happened?
Gameplank's available.
How have you got Exodia?
Hold up.
If they lock in GP here, it's just criminal.
yeah, that's the funny looking Gangplank.
Because Tyran has played the GP, he played it last split.
Tyran also froths for Sett. He's gonna, I don't even know what that is from this distance.
That's looking like an Akshan that's being hovered right now.
Ah, it's Akshan.
We do know that Zorenous loves those ranged attack damage carries topside.
Sett is a blind, I want to say blindable champion for a couple of reasons that we'll get into, as Riven is going to be locked in here as his opponent. Might be Ignite Riven as well in top lane. Sett is so hard to gank. One of the reasons for that being his ultimate. And then if you do try and gank him on flanks, he has the face breaker, the shield there, he'll survive for so long.
Yeah.
And if he's under turret, surviving for as long as he does, very hard to kill him, right? Not full on like Mordekaiser making it a 1v1 type of safety, but Sett does provide a lot of safety while also providing a decent amount of early game strength in a one-on-one dueling sense. I get it. But you've also got champions like Gangplank and Aatrox available, so it is curious that this is where Tyran is going to go towards, and Gravitas pick 4/5 of Exodia and just back out at the last second and kind of open the door to Direwolves to go for this Riven, right? To go for something hyper aggressive. Zorenous loves the cheeky carry champions. That's exactly where he's going to go. And with a Volibear in your comp and 2, effectively, I want to say, assassins and bruisers in solo lanes, and a hyper aggressive bot lane 2v2 with a Lucian Nami, nobody should be under your turrets off cooldown at level 6.
It's feeling like that way. It really should be a case of them ganking off cooldown and really making your life a little bit of a living misery here, as they've certainly got themselves in a rather aggressive composition. Certainly one that fits the bill for Direwolves as a narrative, but really we have to ask ourselves questions as to what Gravitas can really do. What kind of damage can they lay with this composition, which is just so devastatingly strong on this current patch. I mean, you're just looking at champions across the board which have initiation, which have damage, and just have potential from start to finish.
I mean, Lucian Nami is good, right? Akali is good. I think Riven has its place, and I also think the Volibear is still a good champion. One of the places that didn't change quite a lot, actually, come the 12.10 patch was jungle. It feels like very similar overall, with champions being picked with the addition of new champions like a Taliyah, like a Lillia that are viable and were added to the mix, but you can still, you know, Diana, you can still Volibear, you can still Viego, you can still play a lot of these champions. So I don't think that what they've gone for on the other side here, I believe it is of Direwolves, of course, graphic aside, I don't think that has been game-breaking, what they've got, but their opponents on the other side here are just OP champions across the board. Completely, I want to say almost new additions with this patch that has come in. So it is an interesting juxtaposition between both compositions when you consider that.
So it's going to be exciting to see that Taliyah in action once again after that major rework where she just does a whole bunch of damage. Obviously the ability for them to be very roam heavy as well, to try and find those angles, which no doubt Direwolves for their composition on the right hand side, once we get that swapped around, is shown to try and do that as well. I mean, I suppose Poltron's really got his work cut out here as this Volibear, right? Because he's got a lot of lanes that will be demanding that attention to try and snowball ahead. Bot lane obviously seems to be the go-to point to try and hit that point before 6. But, you know, the Akali, the Riven, certainly aren't going to be shy to ask for resources themselves.
I feel like on paper as well, it's not easy to play Akali into Taliyah. You hit your first E, she puts the worked ground down. Do you actually have a game that you, like, you get stunned on dash?
You ult through the minefield and you just played yourself.
Yeah, you've just ulted into a minefield, which is just going to one-hit you. So it's funny that, like, we spent so much time in the draft being like, where is this Taliyah? And then he locks in Akali to kind of open the door. And the door was definitely left open and picked up.
Certainly has been left up, and I mean, it really comes down to, I guess, the question of comfort versus preference for a brand new patch, right? Because we are seeing a lot of comfort from the side here of the Direwolves. I mean, we for the first time seeing Zorenous played as Riven. I believe before that really only was Tien, who was known as the Riven player. So I guess it's going to answer a lot of questions, right, in a match that we're feeling could be on paper fairly even. Yes, recency bias is going to say that Direwolves would look like the stronger team based on how they performed last night, at least anyway, but is it really going to be a case of causation of, is it the player with comfort versus the meta just being that much better?
I mean, I think based off, if I was to use my tier list as an example, I don't think there is a massive gap between Direwolves and Gravitas. I know there's a lot of confidence from the Direwolves players. I think if you've seen that on socials, they're fully prepared to win this game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there is a clear top 4, and then it is a bit of a muddle right now as we try and work through the weeds and try and actually find out exactly where these teams do lie in the power rankings. The one consistency for me was that I did put Gravitas 8th. So I do think that they have so far shown the least growth.
Sure.
And I need to see more from them to be convinced in the coming days.
Yeah, I think we're going to be asking questions also, no doubt, of Piglet, right? Because it seems that, last split, they spent a long time switching out both Vixbert and Entrust as those two support players. Then they spent a lot of time between the likes of Thomas Shen as well as Piglet, right? So very volatile bot lane, hence why we do put this big focus on DaJeung being like, the sole survivor, if you will, and sort of like inverted commas as the player that played all 21 games of that split. So it does beg the question, are they investing all their resources now into Piglet and saying, you are the star player, we're going to build around you as well, make sure that we've got, almost like a Hydra, 2 different heads to say we can attack you from multiple different angles.
I think you need it. I don't know what's happening to the right of us, but
if we pan out the camera for a second, there's a freeze frame there, so we can clap and they just unlock.
I was pretending to be Exodia. Just like trying to be all the parts.
Oh, I was just posing
I thought you were miming.
with like a statue or something.
He was just chilling.
I was saying it's like clappable lights where it just happens. And
yeah, it looked like yesterday when the lights went off and we tried to clap them on. I shouldn't clap just in case it goes off again. But look, no, we do have a lobby remake, so that's happening. We're here, we're chilling. And at least we did get to see that Exodia come through. So I can't wait to see how Taliyah plays, because I haven't got to see her in a competitive game yet, and just how she kind of works with everything going on. I thought there was a chance where like we might have seen like a weird flex going on with Lillia going somewhere and Taliyah going jungle, but then I was like, I don't know who's playing what. I don't know who can play what. I guess it's just sort of like a test of the moment. Thoughts though, Sett being locked in at top when GP's open, and what else was open that was broken?
Aatrox was in our top 3.
Yep.
Aatrox.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting one. You guys had a conversation about that. Sett up top, I feel like, look, it is good to go with something that is a bit more ungankable, right?
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had a very good top lane, I guess, stats, right? Like, looking at last split, he had a bit of a rough showing for, like, the whole split. And now he's got a chance to sort of redeem himself. So, look, play to your strengths, I guess. Look, be ungankable.
I mean, but at the same time, Bin doesn't lock in Sett there, right? Like, best players in the world don't lock in Sett there, I don't think, when Gangplank is available. I feel like that's just the point of contention here, is like, is this actually best in slot champion, even though it works for them? Like, Biopanther might lock in Sion or Ornn there, but I think even Biopanther probably locked in the Gangplank.
Yep.
I think we can all acknowledge how strong that champion is.
Yep.
And it was there to be picked. It's just skewing our stat.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, Kitty, any takes on this one?
Don't expose me, Mac.
I won't expose you.
Don't expose me, Mac.
Kitty got locked out. And missed watching draft, so that's all right.
Oh no! Have you seen
I
the
left
draft
my
at
phone
all?
right here, so I couldn't open the door.
I went to go have a bathroom break, and I kind of locked myself out of the studio.
Oh.
And if I was, let's say, no one saw my messages in our production group chat, I wouldn't have been here.
Oh no.
I would be outside freezing in the cold.
It's all right. It's all right. Look, at least they heard about that one. They haven't heard about your rat test yet, and that can maybe be saved for a rainy day if it needs to be brought up. But you guys just, type 1 in Twitch chat if you want to hear about that one. All right. And we can't see it, so I can't tell how many people know. But I'll check later, and I'll write it in my little book of show notes to bring up in the meeting tomorrow. And then maybe we can have a whole segment, like a 5-10 minute segment, to retell the tale of the rat test. Do you like that idea, Kitty?
What rat test are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
True.
It just does not exist.
Never happened.
Of course. Now, look, we have some from the fan submissions, which are going to buy us some time as this lobby's getting back up. So let's see what you guys did during the off season. Who do we have here. A real squid. I took a 3-week break from League and grinded the adult life smart. Now I get to return to League and be far less tilty. Yes, it's always good to have those mental breaks.
Dude,
I've
yes.
actually found
Yeah.
I had a big break from League as well, and I started playing again the other day. In the 6 games I played, was definitely the most tilted I'd been in about 6 months. So I have decided that I'm just going to play with friends, play for fun, and then enjoy League by watching the LCO, because it's much more fun to watch people be good at the game than struggle to try and be good at the game and not be good at the game and have teammates that just...
You know, when you watch Pro League, there's this part of your brain that starts to learn like what the best League of Legends is, and then you go into game yourself and just assume that you can do it, right? You just go in, you lock in Orianna, I'm like, I'm literally a faker.
It's the
and
biggest
then you
lie.
just die level 1 and you just hate it. You're like, and I'm stuck with this for the next 30 minutes.
Yep.
Every week I've watched the LCO, I log on, I do that.
Yeah, it's just that, right? Like you make a move, especially there's a jungler. I'm like, cool, I've pinged. This is going to work well. And then the laner just like doesn't ping to stop you, doesn't come, you int, and then get called bad. And they say, what are you doing? I'm like, I pinged, I'm coming. Let's go. This gank's on. You know, they're overextended. They've got the lane pushed up. We're literally under our own tower. And they sit there, just press S and just, what are you doing?
It's infuriating.
What's doing? That's essentially what is going on. Now, look, we have another submission we can have a quick look at as well before the game is hopefully live. We got Serendipity, and have a look at this. Went on a holiday to Brizzy to see friends, family, and take a break away from everything. Always good to have those mental breaks and get back to nature. That's
Do you have to swim up?
Swim up where?
Brisbane, it's been raining so much, you'd have to swim through my area to get up there.
Yeah, true. You kind of, cut it all off.
Can we
Yeah.
I think
appreciate the
planes
second
exist,
photo?
though, so maybe they didn't have to swim.
Very Instagrammy, isn't it?
Look at the second photo. It's like,
Now, let's talk about, the mechanics of this. Where is the second photo? Hey?
obviously you have the 2 people in the middle, which is the first photo.
Okay, yep.
And if we were to go by my logic, I would look at the first one at the right.
Okay.
At the top
And
one
that's
at the right.
defined by English reading and us going left to right.
Yes.
So it makes it the second photo. We're going to go with that. What if someone's watching that reads in a language that goes right to left? Then what would be the second photo? The bottom one or the 2 people?
Is the first photo just the biggest photo, or is that not how it works?
I thought size matters.
Oh, wow.
Any anime readers? I don't know what it's. Was it manga readers?
Manga, yeah.
Anime readers?
Anime readers. Readable anime. That's what it is, right?
Sure.
Henga?
Manga.
Manga.
What
I
about
heard the
manga?
word H and
Manga?
or heard the letter H and I
You
started
said
panicking.
ooh earlier, so
Bro, you were going down a very slippery slope, I tell you that much.
I was talking about like chicken. I had chicken on my burrito,
Sure,
you know,
man.
hens.
Yes.
Where are you going? What did you think I was trying to say?
Very fast into the next one.
How long does a lobby take to remake?
That was very
How long does a lobby
dangerous.
take?
Rusty's loving life in his dinosaur shirt over there. I
actually really
wish
nice.
we had Twitch chat because I just wanted to see everyone's reaction when they saw you chilling there and you.
You know what his
dinosaur
shirt reminds
shirt.
me of though? It reminds me, you go to the frozen section of a supermarket and you get like the little chicken tendy dinos.
Yeah, they're like the pastas you could eat as well.
Absolutely. And you just get a bit of ketchup, bit of tomato sauce, and you just live, love, laugh, and you're having a great time as a 10-year-old.
Live, love, laugh.
Absolutely.
Hold this L.
I just love the irony of that meme. Whenever I see somebody have it, I'm just like,
What?
nice, mate.
What? What's going
I
on?
like the post. I'm going to copy it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you like the
We have
photos?
space here. Skimmy, you want to come over? You want to cast from here?
I could.
Yeah.
Have a cuddle cast?
Sharing's caring.
I'll have
Come
a
on.
couch to
Oh, come
myself.
Right, we already have our hands ready for you.
I can't man spread anymore though. That's the problem.
Well, I'll close up.
No. I've got to be disciplined. Hello,
great.
guys.
I feel like
So this is our son.
It's real comfy.
First day back
Coming-
at school.
First day back at school.
I couldn't
Skimmy.
afford proper clothes.
It's
It's trendy. Max said it was
super
trendy.
trendy.
I'm just trying to
You're looking good.
get a little bit lewd, eh? Ooh.
Ooh, hey.
Rub these knees for good luck. Maybe the lobby will start soon.
I feel like a Roman emperor in contrast.
Yeah?
With my minions over there.
Do-
Do,
Some
do,
Feeding
your,
grapes.
do
grapes.
your hands from yesterday. You know the tweet hands? You know when we did something funny? We did the massage.
I was like this though. I was mid.
No, the other
What did I do?
tweet. At the end of the show,
when I
when they
said
showed
neck
you,
wrap.
I was like this.
you're like,
Oh.
yeah.
Like this?
Gee, take a photo of Rusty.
This is the perfect opportunity. So you
Damn.
guys in Twitch chat, we're now going to get you involved. Now, back to Rusty, Laura, please. Yeah. draw
now?
him like one of your French girls.
Yes.
You know? I would love some art to be done and then that being thrown up on from the fans. Guess
fan
what,
art?
guys?
That's such
I
a
just
gamer
got
risk.
some beautiful news. You know what it is? Game's ready. So let's
Chance
jump
select.
on
Game
into
ready?
game number. Is it 2 or 3? 2.
Number 2.
Very
Number
true.
2.
Have fun.
Nice. Well, yes, let's get ourselves off this couch and into the mix of things once again. This time we got ourselves locked in on the right side with the right players in the right places. And we are keen to kickstart this one. All the discussion around comfort picks versus insane S+ meta picks. But now we get to see really what it looks like with the action taking place now.
Certainly do, Skimmy, jumping into this one. Lots to look forward to. Lots of exciting picks, like you mentioned. So definitely all eyes on the Gravitas composition as we get into this one early.
Certainly can. And as we do that, we can welcome back a fan favorite. We can welcome back Valexis from the side of Direwolves, one of the coaches. And I have to say, mate, I mean, is it a little bit lonely now because Poltron's not actually by your side? He's in the Rift instead.
Nah. Still got the boys. We're still a team, so I'm chilling.
You're living your
All
best
good.
life.
Have you flamed
Yeah.
him yet? You have that permission now.
Look, to be honest, have flamed him. He can int quite a bit sometimes and go for some risky invades, but hey, it's part of the process, I guess. Just
Absolutely.
filtering out the solo queue habits.
Absolutely. Well, I have to ask then. I mean, there's obviously been a number of personnel changes on the team, right? You've brought on Poltron in that jungle position, Siuman now in the mid lane, and
Yeah.
Danteh getting that starting position here as well. So how's that really been for yourself and the rest of the team to try and manage?
Yeah, it's been, I guess, good and bad. So it was a bit disappointing when Kyose came to us at the end of Split 1 and pretty much said you can't play Split 2 because of life commitments, like uni was taking up too much time. And then, like, I understand, but Goodo obviously wanted to explore other options because our mid-jungle synergy was pretty much breaking, and that's what we based our team around. So we said, yeah, like, too easy, like, you can look for another option. And then we obviously had to search around for a jungler and a mid laner. Landed on Poltron, Siuman, both hardworking, both quite talented in their own specific ways. And then with bot lane, like straight up, the work ethic of Danteh and Dre just couldn't be matched by Frost and Chinky. Like these guys just grind day in, day out. Even though Alvin's balancing school as well because he's still so young, like he's just such a grinder. And for us to really be competitive in Split 2, losing our core fundamental of Kyose Goodo, we really do have to put in, I nearly swore, a lot of work to make up the difference. So we need 5 players that are united and ready to put in a lot of hours.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we're certainly seeing some really good results already very early on into this one. We're sort of seeing the same recipe for success, I suppose, in some of those creative picks like we saw in the Teemo last night. Is that still the message from these players, right? Just play comfort, the synergy will come with time.
Oh no, Teemo was accidentally locked in. Didn't mean it. We've never scrimmed with it. That was the first time thing. Yeah, unlucky.
Absolutely.
Unlucky. We were talking about potentially locking in Zillion tonight because Rusty like asked for it. So like, if you want, we can do that next game. But just let us know.
We can just
Yeah.
sure. We can just start drafting for you on the couch. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
to
too
me.
easy. Hey,
Absolutely.
you're doing my job for me. Let's
and you're
go.
getting paid for it. It's a great time to be alive. Well, look, I wish you boys the best of luck in your game tonight. Always a pleasure catching up with you, and we'll talk
Too
soon.
easy. Cheers.
I don't remember asking for Zillion.
You got too much
I
power.
don't remember. I must have. I think I was talking about a comp saying a Zillion could have been good. I recall that part of it. Just a recap for everyone as well now that we're out of the coach interview. What we have missed so far is Poltron going for a very early gank towards mid lane as the wave was crashing to make sure that it did actually crash. Nice little look in, gets the summoner spells from DaJeung. Otherwise, it has been mostly just a full clear from nobody on the other side. Lillia is one of those champions that actually excels at starting solo at the Raptor camp. So he's going to be the first camp that comes back for him. Level 3 now ready to go. Meanwhile, you'd expect much more activity from Poltron. And if we go way back, Skimmy, to our first time talking through the draft, I did say Ignite was the likely option for top lane if you're going to pick Riven into Sett. It feels like you want to win, right? Like you really want to be able to have a bit of extra lane threat, not just trading. The risk of all-in is there with Ignite.
Certainly is. And you're seeing him being very keen, very eager to try and find those moments, certainly calling him Poltron as well. But an eager bot lane will be this one, and the Abyssal Dive will cut off the retreat here for Bulldawg. But it's a good bubble to try and turn things around, and they turn it around flawlessly. That's a first blood. Can Gravitas answer back? No, they've just run out of juice. Oh, nobody didn't have the Q charge up. The CD was too long. Bulldawg panicked. He hit the flash anticipating it. But ultimately, Direwolves come out ahead.
That felt really messy and disconnected there by Gravitas. First of all, Piglet dying with exhaust up is definitely something that is a little bit confusing for me. And if we actually just look more at the summoner spells overall before that skirmish. There is a teleport there from Floppy from the looks of it, so not going to have that extra combat summoner available for the all-in threat with something like an Ignite, if that were to be the case. Poltron mid, no flash.
Looking for it, down comes the Thunder, just out of range from that stun, especially once the minefield goes down. Very hard to make any play happen.
But the biggest thing for me bottom was just how disconnected they were with aggro, right? Piglet going for Danteh while the rest of the team was going for Bulldawg. I still think Nami was the target. DaJeung.
He's looking for the repeat. The Predators pop. This time the Lunder will come on down. Crash and burn and guaranteed a kill goes to Siuman, and that Akali is on the board.
That's the best way to start this one off if you are going up against this going up with this Akali, right? Get the Volibear in there, gank the lane off cooldown. No flash, no issues. It's just a really big target on the head of DaJeung. Especially as a win condition to beat Gravitas, right?
Absolutely. We talked about some of the concerns that could take place here with the minefield going down, a perfect execution, the ultimate, the Akali going across. Might just one-shot yourself as a result of that one. A flash across from Tyran. He's at level 6, nice and early. And so let's bring you underneath that turret and let's get a kill, but it's not to be the case. Double flashes in the top lane.
Yeah, both top laners just not having that summoner definitely puts a big beacon on their head saying this is where we're going to look towards, this is where we're going to go from here on out. So very curious as to how top laners might get themselves active towards top lane. Also having the teleport advantage there for Tyran helps with him pushing one more wave in before the reset. Small detail, but that'll be nice for him. Volibear now on the bottom side of the map, Skimmy, getting active.
Really is. Really keen to try and push their advantage in this early portion of the game and start off that first good gank attempt into a kill, into a dragon as well to play towards something far greater. But nobody's got something to do about this. He's going to spot vision. No real idea to try and contest that one. He's keeping himself locked in place in this bot lane. It's a great bubble by Bulldawg. Instant dash and instant exhaust after the fact. The center root connects, instant cleanse after that. And now Direwolves once again find themselves in a familiar situation, looking to run away. Just at a range of an execution from the center. And now Floppy's overextended. He's expended everything he has and more. And he falls down again.
Yeah, Volibear very fast right now, running around with the Predator with Boots of Lucidity rushed and completed. Nobody on the other side actually has the Dark Harvest instead of the Predator, so is by no means as fast. And it really does feel like right now, Direwolves laners are just getting it done, even when the aggression is coming out from the opposing team, right? They weather it so well, the Lucian and Nami combo, finding those trades essentially in a 2v2. But because Poltron always gets there first, the way that it skews this is so large.
It really has been. And it's really bailed out Direwolves a fair few times now, where it's always been Gravitas being the aggressors, being the ones to try and start off the play and say, let's get ahead early. And then we've got the insurance policy of the Senna Souls late, the tankiness of the Tahm Kench. Zorenous pokes his head into mid lane.
I think he was trying to do a little cheeky jump over the wall there with his Q3, cover some extra distance, but just really just says hello, gives a high five to DaJeung on his way back to top lane. It was free time, a free opportunity to move. You can see that's a really nice ward, though, placed by Tyran top lane. That control ward not going to see it. Maximizing its value really nicely.
Certainly are some very good eyes in the sky to give them that proactive ability to know exactly where this Riven could be. Ensure that this Taliyah certainly can scale and become a bit of a menace.
So Direwolves still with a, I want to say, pretty comprehensive advantage with where their wards are placed, with where they're set up on the map. They've seen nobody walk over here with not just one ward, but two. Siuman with ult, Predator from Poltron.
They're keen for it. If they deny away this blue buff, that would be huge. Nobody's going to try and do whatever he can. He can't even hit the sleep. That's how much pressure he was under. The blue resets. They denied us away from the Taliyah, and it just goes from bad to worse.
And DaJeung places a ward, but for what reason? Right, like even if there was no sweeper there was a Scryer's Bloom to clear it, there's no shot that you have a chance of taking the blue buff away from them.
Great work from Zorenous as well, denying the reset back. So that wave is crashing, and he's just getting so much out of this.
And it's quite as simple as looking back a minute prior to this blue buff being the play from nobody, right? They get map control on the top side, they get the read, they're able to place deep vision, and that deep vision nets them a kill, a blue buff, and extra waves top. They are doing incredible amounts of work here, Direwolves. And they're just controlling Gravitas, controlling the pace of this game exactly how they want it to be.
Certainly are. And Invade, that nets a kill, that goes into the Herald, which then pans down to bot lane, and finally Piglet finds his revenge. They've got that kill they've been so desperate for. They've removed the Lucian, and they're getting themselves a nice chunk of change as well by getting at least 2 plates.
It does seem like overall, considering the kill that did happen, it went into the hands of Bulldawg. Bulldawg also has been roaming a little bit for the play, and it feels really bad as a support to leave a Lucian by himself, especially if they're going to pressure him, because he is short range even though he has mobility, and it's very hard to survive and sustain through that, especially against a Tahm and Senna that can just hit a straight W from Senna and it's on. But they will find themselves the kill. And it will, in the end, be really nicely played by them. As you can see, the Senna W connects after a tongue lash from the Tahm Kench. And just a max damage combo. Danteh with a wave crashing that large should not be in a position to get caught like that.
Ultimately, as you saw, the Root, Dawning Shadow, and the Abyssal Dive cutting out any kind of possibility to even consider a cleanse. Flash was down at that moment. And punished accordingly. And it certainly does feel bad when you lose a wave and lose your life in the process. Siuman's 2-0. And that's always a good talking point, right? The fact that his Akali has been fit, it has been that champion to look out for, and that he's willing to pick it in a matchup like this and get ahead.
The assassin of the LCO, I think it is fair to call it. He's definitely under fire right now. It's going to get slowed down.
It's going to be main drowsy, actually. Goes into his own smoke screen. Where's he going to jump? Side steps to Seismic Shove and says, I need some backup. I need a team to go to. I'm flashing away. Can you soak these skill shots for me? You can't. The culling is not enough of a deterrent. Gravitas just press forward and kill.
Yeah, definitely just shouldn't be there. Recalling was the rest of his team. Poltron sprinting out with a Nami to speed him up, perhaps hunting for nobody. We'll see if he continues this. He's really having a crack.
He's all in on this one. Hits the Stormbreaker and says, you will fall on down. Great shove away. The Tidal Wave is just out of range. It expires at his doorstep. But Zorenous on the biggest roam from top lane to mid picks it up.
Yeah, Daewul's top laner has walked through mid-turret and is going to be able to find himself the kill. Lots of map movements here by Direwolves. You like to see this. It's very refreshing, actually, from the roster as a whole. And a couple of hiccups here and there, but the confidence with which you feel that they're moving around the map is very notable.
Huge pressure being placed on this map now. As we see, Zorenous is still going to hold that mid lane. They've switched the laners, so now the Akali is top. Instance someone on the Herald. More gold towards the Riven's pockets. Take the Dragon as well. They're not wasting time. They want everything and more.
They'll get the Drake. They've also got bot lane pushing really hard right now. It's not going to be too much beyond just a couple of plates from the looks of it. Senna and Tahm Kench will be able to get back to respond to this one. Quick tabs, quick check-in as well with the vision setup from both teams. It's on the exact same side of the map. The one point of difference here is that nobody is on the map faster. He's right now on top side. Could do Grom. Could even do a Hex Gate towards top if he wanted. That would be a visionless gank angle. He's going to sweep through right now regardless. I just love Hex Gates and the creativity that can come from having them, and the way vision has to be placed is just so different, especially if teams actively use it.
It is always refreshing, right, when Riot can really hit it hard home when it is the same map, but they always find ways to innovate it and sort of change the way the game is played.
Unless it's a chem tech.
Well, that was a little bit too broken.
It was just quite stinky.
Yep, you take your chances, and that one didn't land, but this one certainly will. Zorenous is all in for the kill! And he's got it. That was fantastic.
With W in hand, with the stun still there from Zorenous, a flash W would have secured it if Tyran had some kind of way to survive. Really lovely combo, actually, from Zorenous. Being able to animation cancel the ultimate with a couple of dashes there. Just nets himself the one-on-one kill. Tyran oversteps his bounds, flashes so early, and it's just an easy chase down.
That's just crazy to me, the fact that he's been so roam heavy, but he's still up so much CS. He's now 2-0 as well. This Riven's going to be a real menace.
I mean, you 5-pick red side for Zorenous, you'd want something like this to be the case. And again, we spoke about this in detail due to the fact that we had a delay, but Sett top is not it. You know, it is just a safe, I want to say steady top lane champion. Just like a culling that goes onto Piglet's head is definitely some steady damage. But it's not going to carry, right? It's not going to, like, it's just going to survive. And it's not surviving well right now with all the pressure that's coming across by having a ganking jungler there for Poltron. Having full vision set up as well. And with Siuman being fairly strong, if he's free on the map, you have to respect him also. It's hard to play.
Yep, those two collapsing either in sync or from an opposite angles. There's a lot of pressure on the map at one given moment that I feel like Gravitas are going to be struggling to try and find answers for that. Tahm Kench certainly will have their work cut out for them. The key target, the focus to devour. And obviously the Taliyah And the Lillia need no further introduction as to what they can do to try and help out, but there's a lot of pressure. And it feels like, certainly at the 15-minute mark, Direwolves are in their comfort zone.
And right now you've actually got both supports. One of them, of course, is Piglet moving up towards the top side of the map. Herald 2 going to spawn in 40 seconds, so the vision is here, but Tyran.
It's on. Tidal Wave just sidestep, but there is the bubble, which will also be missed. Good true damage as the W has to be expended. And knockback with the showstopper is Tyran goes to the 2v1. But he can't do much more about that. The rest of his team have rushed on through in that river to say we can do something to answer back here. Yes, Poltron goes to sleep, but he wakes up and he's still alive and healthy. A shield for mitigation, a turnaround attempt, a flash and a claw. And yes, I'll fall on down, but at least we've removed your jungler. Here. Now, Siuman is rocking up here with a blue buff. There's a lot of cooldown reduction. DaJeung gets himself a second kill and a shutdown in this game. They've overextended to try and get Bulldawg, but he survived. And it's easy pickings now from Akali that just rips into life with the perfect execution, traversing so much of the map. And gets a very nice double himself.
I mean, it's hard to believe the Bulldawg is alive after that skirmish. One Taliyah Q going the right direction, predicting his pathing, and then it would just be another kill secured for the side of Gravitas. Floppy seems keen for the 1v1. It is going to push back Danteh, but at the end, a 4-1 Akali, and so much damage from Zorenous. I mean, first and foremost, Bulldawg needs to recalibrate here. He's a couple of millimeters off exactly where his skill shots need to be. Tyran will stop and use the W anyway. And Tyran actually says we're fighting, so goes for this to buy some time for his team. Nobody comes in with a one-man sleep. The Lullaby is not going to do anything to Zorenous, who buys time. And Bulldawg untouched now, right? It's just able to freely assist Zorenous and Poltron as they make these plays. And from here, it is about going forwards. Don't let Siuman get into the mix. We're fighting again.
We certainly are fighting again, and that's the instant devour. This time not used on a friendly, but on an enemy instead. Zorenous 1v3. He's going for it, and he does it. I do not believe that. 1v3. He at least takes somebody down with him.
Yeah, he'll get himself the kill. You'll be happy with that if you are Zorenous. He had flash, so again, there's worlds where he survives, but I think he is very content with the 1-for-1 trade. 3 people putting resources.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's really nice. From the Direwolves bot lane, linking up beautifully with their kits.
They find themselves a pretty nice little kill there. Poltron able to walk through towards the Drake now. They've already secured the Rift Herald, so objective-wise, doing well. This is going to be a large Tahm Kench. He has been farming quite nicely. There's going to be a very tanky boy who can stand in the front lines and deal damage. Very curious to see how he will play this one out, however, as that's a lot of farm to put into someone if he's just going to be spending it protecting. Probably want to be more forward in your posturing and trying to take out Danteh yourself. But if you are the side of Gravitas, you are now dealing with an Akali, a Volibear, a Riven, and a Lucian, all close-range champions, high-damage champions, just running at you time after time. So much mobility there as well. Really hard to lock them down and hit them.
And the time is on. Because 18 minutes in, and Direwolves have managed to stack themselves up 3 very quick Drakes. A sore point to play for, and a chance that Floppy will say, well, I'm tanky, but can I do much more about this? I've walked up to the wave where we are crashing it, but I've not respected the law, which is an Akali and a Volibear can be here so quickly and ready to pounce.
Floppy actually got minion blocked for about 6 seconds. That was so rough. He just walked the long way around to get himself to safety. He gets picked off. I'm not even sure Poltron was looking for him. He was trying to ignore him, run straight to Piglet, but just decided it was the easy option at that point. They'd already tanked a couple of turret shots. That's how long he'd been minion blocked for. Gravitas left once again to just pick up the pieces. Standing on top of him actually right now. It's pretty rude.
And if they can to hold off this wave. Ooh, very dangerous. As he completely whiffs out the combo using that stopwatch, but he's baiting and he's buying time because Poltron's here, but nobody's not to be outdone. That's the Weaver's Water cut off the retreat.
Cut off Piglet.
And instantly to decide, well, hang on a minute. Are we jumping in? Are we not? Are we disengaging? Bit of a mismatch there, but ultimately Direwolves are quite happy to walk away.
You've got to make your mind up there if you're Gravitas. Piglet caught on the other side of his own teammate's wall.
Was that me?
Just going to be a disengage, I guess, in the end. Just a comedy of errors in between this. And Tyran might have a crack at trying to steal this one. We'll see how it plays out.
Full item advantage here for Zorenous. He's got a full black cleaver. He's managed to pick up that blue buff, but he's been hit by that root. Oh, that's a fantastic blast cone. Was in a lot of trouble otherwise.
Yeah, it covers so much distance with that Riven combo, so we'll get himself to auto-attack range of the explosive plant. They have just found themselves Danteh with no mana. Surely they make a play here.
There's no way. Yeah, has to flash. Oh man, that really hurts. Had no mana. And just a roam from a play to try and take out the Riven into mid lane. Just caught at the wrong time resetting.
Yeah, caught him recalling, caught him sleeping. Didn't use anything to get away. I'm not sure he had enough mana for a dash. Siuman, perhaps posturing. Meanwhile,
just bot lane. I mean, Poltron's just playing the game on his own. He's just summoned the Herald without any assistance elsewhere. They've said, look, everybody from Gravitas have just beeline towards mid lane to try and shut down this Lucian. So I can just try and sneak in a sneaky turret bot.
it's a very confusing map play. There's a lot of push and pull that's happening right now between both teams, and it's a lot of it over-forcing, right? You've still got 2 minutes till the Drake. There's nothing really to contribute to on the map right now. It doesn't seem like Baron's going to be on the cards. Though I do think that Direwolves would be able to do it in relatively short order with no need for Siuman.
Oh, that's a great bubble. That's a great little bit of all-in attention here from Bulldawg to start the play off. And to finish it off the Devour, the shield is insane, but it just gets ripped apart. And then those two insanely fed members in the solo lanes from Direwolves, they wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, they get themselves two very easy picks. This time the bubbles do connect. Skimmy last time perhaps not as accurate. Baron definitely going to be looked at right now and is on the cards. Nobody nearby is not going to be spotted. He has vision on his side. He'll reveal himself right now with that Scryer's Bloom.
Wants to try and run around, keep that stack nice and high for the movement speed. The Weaver's Wall cuts it apart. The Baron is being disengaged away from him. He has to flash away to safety because
Baron reset.
The attention, the way that Gravitas attacked that Baron was just so disjointed.
They've just given it up. Taliyah wall doesn't actually provide anything. The Baron was resetting as all of Direwolves separated from it to go for the Lillia. Tyran walks towards the Baron pit, stops, walks away, and then recalls to teleport in like 3 seconds late.
Tyran's going in. He's going to bring one into the pit. He's brought in Zorenous, instant flash away. And nobody's been put to sleep. And ultimately, Direwolves just walk out and say, you've committed a TP, you've committed a re-engage on that play, and you've net yourself nothing.
To be honest, it does feel like Direwolves are playing with macro that's just lagging. It is 300 ping macro play. Turret will drop. They're going to look towards the Drake. This would deny a soul if they're able to, but Baron recalls and Hextech gates. Hex gates will get them here so quickly. This is a play that Direwolves will take, and I think this is one that Gravitas have no choice but to make with a Sett with no ult.
In they go, looking at answer back by taking back another turret in the mid lane. The second has fallen. Bot lane is super crippled, as we saw before from that Herald summoned by Poltron. They top up the members with that Nami heal. The minefield's been laid down, cutting the wave and really denying this super empowered cannon from doing much more.
Drake's still definitely on the cards here. Direwolves should be able to disengage their way towards this one at any moment. They don't have to hit the Drake. Time is on their side.
Good bubble once again. Only onto Floppy. They have to wait, though, for Danteh to wrap around and rejoin their team. He took the long way out.
DaJeung running out of mana. Akali sees this as well. It's just a matter of time until he has to base. No teleport there. They really get one punch. They get one punch at this or it is over.
Weaver's Wall, once again, nice and early. He's denied them. A one-man sleep, actually a two-man sleep. Instantly cleansed there from Danteh as the fight does begin. And they jump in with Tyran, looking to try and lead the line and slam dunk them home with a win here. Siuman's jumped on through. He's got the R2 charge, but he's going to go golden once. And then as he comes out, slash through them all and take them down and say, that is an ace, and this is the soul.
The bruise is just a little bit too strong here for the side of the Direwolves. Much left to be desired, unfortunately, for Gravitas when it comes to the setup around this objective. Not finding any purchase on any kind of strategies that they're after. That was a good Sett ultimate. That was a good team fight, but just too far down to make that one work. And you can see that reflected in the damage in that last team fight as well. You would say even across the board, just that the damage that Direwolves deal is more impactful, right? That's assassins. That's people that are one-hitting you doing that damage. In stark contrast. And we'll see this again. Again, DaJeung will ult to break them off. Won't take the ult wall. And a Hex Gate has to be used by Siuman as the fight starts. So that actually buys them a decent amount of time. There's a big ultimate that comes out as well by Tyran on this Sett towards the back half of it. Sleep gets cleansed. And it was a nice little Senna ultimate. So far you would say that's a good fight. But then Poltron jumps in. Siuman starts to play off with R1. Zorenous gets back into the mix as well with his cooldowns reset. And that's all she wrote. They had a shot. We said they had one punch. They gave it. And the counter was too strong.
And once those fed melee assassins are on top of you, There is not much running away for these squishy members on the side of Gravitas.
I'm gonna say this. I'm not sure that is a Taliyah build. I've seen a lot of Taliyah builds in my time. I don't think completing the tier is the standard.
Yeah, I've always been all about the magic pen. Always lured into the Shadow Flame, but that's beside the point because the fight is breaking out and the fight is being lost by Gravitas inside their own base. Ripped apart with a double here for the Riven. 3 members have fallen, actually 4. As they're waiting for DaJeung now to respawn. And really for Direwolves, it's pick your poison. Which inhib first?
Yeah, they're going to go for the top inhib pretty much for free here. I think in reality, they could consider threatening for the full end. 3 people dead, 15 seconds. They can consider. Volley no ultimate, so they're not going to be able to disable the turret. So it could just be 2 inhibs and a reset. But it does feel like we're just waiting to put a bow on it and they're fighting.
Senna's Kane, he just jumped in with the rocket belt and far out here, just deleted, just gone, ripped apart onto the tankiest member on their team. And he didn't even exist. Blink, you miss it, he is gone. 26 minutes, 26 kills, and a very convincing way here for Direwolves to answer back in day 2 to kickstart week 1. More kills, more action, more fun to be found here, as Direwolves really, from start to finish, have been having a lot of fun with it.
They certainly have been having fun, Skimmy, and they still find themselves a relatively easy dub in the end as well. Big performance from the Riven. I think bigger performance from Poltron. If I was to give someone an MVP from this game, I think that he was the catalyst to it.
Absolutely.
And unlike what we heard from the coach of Elixir, it wasn't a full int this time around, so I don't think there's going to be any post-game flame between coaches. I think it's more of a celebration. And otherwise, just good play, right? Siuman on those assassins, you see what he's capable of. Lots of things to look forward to for this Direwolves roster through the remainder of Split 2 of the LCO.
Certainly is, especially when you've got a situation where we thought could be quite dicey in that mid lane. If you're saying, I'm going to play the Akali into the Taliyah, and I'm going to make it look favorable for me, Mac, I mean, you're feeling pretty confident about your chances.
Yeah, it was a interesting game. There was multiple moments where even though Direwolves were so far ahead, it looked like Gravitas could have swung one of those team fights in their favor at any given point, but then it was just a couple of clutch plays, a couple of clutch heals as well coming out from Bulldawg. Some really good CC as well in between those fights, and there was just some great coordination coming out from them. It felt like Gravitas positionally were like always, I wouldn't say not always in the right place, but just scattered across the map when maybe they should have been grouping a little bit earlier. It was like, what was their win con? I'm not even too bloody sure because I don't know if they knew.
I mean, it wasn't cohesive, to say the least. It felt messy. It didn't, visually, it felt like they weren't communicating to the same level that other teams are, right? It did feel like that. It was definitely something they need to think about and work on, especially with 4 out of 5 champions that we said are just really good.
Yeah, so it's just like disjointed gameplay. What was your take on that one, Kitty? It was close at moments, but then Direwolves just managed to find so many picks. They had like a 7, 8, I don't even know how many Ks of gold they had towards the end. I think it was over 10K. But look, they had a 7K gold lead for like ages.
I want to highlight Siuman picked Akali. This is his iconic champion where he's probably one of the best Akalis we've seen in OCE. And he found those flank angles in these teamfights where Gravitas was getting suffocated for these objective fights. And if we're going to talk about champions, Gravitas, they have picked up 4 really good champions like Rusty touched on. But I'm sure they're just not very sure on how to execute this composition because you don't have a very hard CC to force these team fights other than Tyran. But Tyran wasn't finding those angles and he didn't have flash up all the time. So they didn't have a hard engage that allowed these teamfights to happen where they were just being played around by Direwolves.
I think what Kitty said there is spot on, like the most important thing. And it's a really big like narrative point for the entire league. I think that this patch favors the best teams and is a hindrance for the bottom teams. Because you don't have hard engage now. You're missing reliable sources of winning with positions where you can force fight. So you just have to be better. Right? Which is so hard to do when you're against better teams. How are you just going to be better with an enchanter that can't engage?
Although you say that, but then we saw what Aladoric did yesterday with the Nautilus. Still managed to play his
solution exists,
game.
Mac.
Yes, a solution exists, and that means certainly found it. But look, for this game, I feel like Direwolves did a very good job at showing us just how far above they are, I guess above the rest, you know, because Gravitas, they're sort of, you know, one of the bottom teams coming out of last split. You know, they've still got to they're trying to figure out like their mix of players and how they sort of operate together. And even with the almost Exodia composition from draft, they still struggled to get a lot of things going in their way. So it all comes down to the macro, all comes down to the decision making. It was good to see the Senna scaling into the game, still dishing out tons of damage. Unfortunately, it was not enough damage in comparison to what you're seeing over towards Direwolves. You had 3 players all doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of those stats. And another thing as well, we were discussing in the green room. So Black Cleaver coming through there for Zorenous. Do you have any idea why he's gone for that? Is it just because the composition from Grav was a little bit tanky?
Oh, I feel like it's because it's a bunch of bruisers and he's just going to contribute nicely to Armor Shred, right? They're all going to be close range physical damage champions. So I think it works. It provides everything that the Riven needs. And I don't think he was worried about dying, where most of your other second item choices are like more like half defensive, half offensive stats.
Yep.
So I think he was just feeling himself. He went for the damage route.
There you go. So extra damage, you know, pretty quick stacks as well with the Riven, a lot of quick auto attacks. So there you go. Answers have been received. Now, look, we do have a legend of the esport on the line. My man, big man, Bulldawg is here for Split 2. How you feeling, big fella?
Hey, what's up, baby? How we doing?
Oh.
Doing great, Bulldawg, doing great. Well, let's talk about that game. You just had an amazing performance on the Nami. So what do you actually think of the support meta in 12.10?
Shit, I don't even know what patch it is, but I know support meta is kind of like less of an engage. You can pick it here and there, do your thing. I think the chances are kind of goated, but yeah, that's about it for that.
Very good, very good. Now, how's it feel, you know, with your coach being in the game with you, being able to do a lot of the calling? Is your voice, you know, suppressed a little bit, or are you still just as vocal as ever?
Nah, if I want something done, I'm telling them what I want. Come on now, you know who I am.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Bulldawg, well, talking about those drastic roster changes, what do you think is going to be the main difference that is going to affect Dials from Split 1 to Split 2?
The main difference that'll affect our team? Shit. Oh, hey, sheesh is what I said. Sheesh. We're going to do good. We're going to do good. We're going to do good. Yes,
now look, we have Skimmy here as well, who may want to shed some love quickly, you know, from the motherland.
Bulldawg, I love your work, mate. I love it when the Kiwis absolutely get it done. But I saw your tweet before, very sus tweet, I might add. But mate, I'm all for it.
Nah, come on now, you gotta put some risk to it, some spice to it.
I was so ready for you to start inting. I was so ready for it to start happening, all for the tweet. But
hey, I might pick a random winner anyway. I got you.
Hey, love your work, bro. Keep slaying.
Yeah, easy.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we'll leave it there on that, Bulldawg. You know, good luck in your games next week, and go and bathe in the glory of that big W.
Yeah, 2-1. Have a good night.
Always
Legend.
good to chat with him. Legend of the esport. As I mentioned, going in. So happy to have a quick chat with Bulldawg nice and early on in the split. And Dials getting on the board here with this game.
Good start for them, really is. I mean, from yesterday, right, you're saying once again, it's a case of them challenging these top teams, and it's just going to be a process of them refining it by the time we get to, you know, playoffs time, saying, can we really eclipse 5th spot? Yeah. I think, you know, you come into this one, and absolutely, credits to Poltron, very present on the map, doing literally everything. I mean, the play that really stuck out for me is when he's summoning the Herald, they're ganking, he's going for the Dragon at the same time, he's just saying, we're doing literally 5 things at once, and we're just winning at everything. I mean, that level of greed, but then control is hard to achieve in pro games.
It was interesting as well. Kitty knew that Poltron always ganked mid, said it was just a thing. If you're playing against Poltron, he is just
kind of like
ganking mid straight away, and he did it here, so maybe it's just going to be a continuing factor.
We were talking about habits and how each player has their own habit. If I'm going to expose myself, please don't use it against me in solo queue, because I'm going to become very useless if you do, is where I'm a support main, and every time I base, I will default walk towards the mid bot lane where I can look for potential ganks on mid. And with Poltron, a lot of my friends have also mentioned that Poltron really likes ganking mid, but I think that's beneficial for Siuman because he is that mechanical player for Dials.
True, I mean, it's a kindred player ganking for his enchanter mains in mid. It makes a lot of sense. And people who know what I mean know what I mean.
Okay, well, I do have the Dare MVP ready for you all at home. And look, we've had a quick discussion about who it's going to be. There were many members from Direwolves that could have taken it home. But today, it is Poltron there in the jungle, doing big work on the big old bear, Volibear, 2-1-14. 59% KP, and look, not a huge damage share, all things considered, but he was there. He was getting those stuns. He was just being a nuisance, being annoying for Gravitas to deal with, Kitty.
Volibear, always a classic jungler that I would always want on my team because you provide that frontline, you provide these CCs for the ganks, and you provide some face check ability where, let's talk about Gravitas' comp because they have the Lillia where you can't actually go into these bushes and get vision because you just get insta one shot, right? So with Poltron picking up the Volibear again, picking something with utility, I'm really enjoying his champion pool so far.
Look, he was the brains, now he's the brawn. He's really just making it an interesting split so far for Direwolves. Look, they had a few different faces in the previous splits. Now we got Poltron coming back, doing work. And I think today, look, it seemed like their macro, you said during the game actually that their macro was kind of all over the place, or were you meaning to talk about Gravitas?
I was talking about Gravitas, yeah.
Okay.
When I said the 300 ping macro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't about Dials. Dials were fine.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to fault Dial. In fact, Zorenous left lane more than I think he did the entire first split in one game.
You know, I have a question. If you were a coach, how do you draft against Zorenous? He's picked the Teemo. He's picked the Riven. He plays literally everything.
You go
What
red
do you
side.
do?
You pick red side.
Yeah.
What does he do? Make him blind pick. What do you do? Like, just find him, expose his weakness. He can't counter pick. He's done.
Just ban him out.
Yeah.
Ban him out.
How?
Just keep banning him.
How?
Just ban him.
What
The
champions?
slam?
Out.
The ban hammer?
The ban hammer. You want me to get it?
Okay.
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't actually bring it today, so it was false. You called my bluff. Sorry, Rusty. I did expect to, you know, I do want to take a ban hammer to DreamHack, but you know, the big inflatable
Yes.
hammers. Maybe I'm leaking something here, but I just want one of those big hammers to like run around and go, you're banned,
Bonk.
and you're banned, and even you're banned, and just whack people with the inflatable hammer. I might get, you know, in trouble for
Sure.
it.
Yeah,
but
you might.
That's a risk I'm willing to take as the host of the LCO. Now, I'm going to chew this vibe gum as we do go to a break before we get into game 3. But look, that third game is going to be an absolute banger. Let's see what it is. Oh, look, it's Chiefs and Aura just after this one.
Once again, nice and early. It's denied them. A one-man sleep, actually a two-man sleep. Instantly cleansed there from Danteh. The fight does begin. And they jump in with Tyran, looking to try and lead the line and slam dunk them home with a win here. Siuman's jumped on through. He's got the R2 charge, but he's going to go golden once. And then as he comes out, slash through them all and take them down and say, that.
Hey, look, Menulog.
Because everything sounds like Lee Sin.
Everything
Yeah,
just,
everything just sounds like Lee Sin, even Kitty. We have one more sound to get through anyway before we
I
jump
heard
on
a
into the action.
far distance
So-
laugh.
Yeah.
The fifth sound, let's have a listen.